What happens when smart contracts come to Cardano? As a community, we've been counting down the days until Cardano deploys smart contracts in its Goguen update for what feels like forever now. But once Cardano hard forks into this unknown territory, what happens next? What functionality will now exist in this massively expanded ecosystem, and what impact can it have on the price of ADA as we move towards the end of 2021? Let's find out. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into this video. We're going to be discussing the future of Cardano, more specifically smart contracts, the Goguen hard fork that's just around the corner, and what that update means for the Cardano network moving forward. So if you're new to crypto or new to Cardano, there's probably a whole bunch of buzzwords and terminology flying around that probably seems a little bit foreign to you. So to understand smart contracts and how they work within cryptocurrency networks, we're going to have to start with a quick history lesson. Let's start with the Shelley era. On July 29th, 2020, the Cardano blockchain got an upgrade, hard forking from the previous Byron build into the network we know and love today, Shelley. With Shelley came a wealth of new functionality into the network. Suddenly we had full network decentralization, and by August, the staking mechanisms were deployed. Users were able to expand the network by hosting stake pools and delegating their ADA to generate rewards. Since then, participation has absolutely exploded. There are over 2,000 stake pools in operations with over 600,000 individual staking addresses. From these wallets, over 70% of all ADA in circulation is currently staked, making ADA the most staked cryptocurrency and elevating Cardano to be the most decentralized blockchain in the market right now. While Shelley has been amazing for the development of Cardano as a blockchain, all eyes have been on the horizon for the next phase of its story, the Goguen era and smart contracts. So as the colored Alonzo testnet versions continue, we're looking at September for the mainnet rollout. So what does the Goguen era represent? In a nutshell, it's the biggest expansion of the Cardano network to date. It brings additional functionality and capability to the blockchain in the form of smart contracts, decentralized apps, a multi-currency ledger with support for wrap token and NFT creation. This update also deploys a new purpose-built smart contract development language and execution platform called Plutus, built out of the functional programming language Haskell. And now that all sounds great, but if you're not technical, what does this mean practically? The phrase smart contracts gets thrown around a lot, and there are a lot of misconceptions about both what constitutes a smart contract and the differences between smart contracts on different blockchains. So let's break it down. A contract is a legally binding document between at least two parties that outlines the terms of an agreement. In a traditional contract, all parties need to sign it for it to be valid, and that signature must be witnessed by a third party or relevant authority. An example of a traditional contract would be a marriage certificate that's signed by the bride and groom under the watchful eye of the pastor, celebrant, or registered official. The only problem with this agreement is the bride and groom are subject to the celebrant's availability, their appearance fees, and the possibility that somehow a third party could sabotage the agreement. And that may sound crazy, but when you consider in a real world sense agreements, there's always a possibility of some evil corporation or government suddenly becoming a valid concern. And not only that, but the marriage certificate is only valid once the pastor or celebrant has logged it with the relevant governmental department, a process that could take days to weeks. Again, in the real world, if there's any financial incentive to dragging your feet on executing a contract, the delay could be even longer. With a smart contract, the celebrant is removed from the agreement entirely. The bride and groom sign their marriage certificate online using secure identity verification, which when completed is filed immediately, updating the details of husband and wife instantly. That website the new couple just used is an example of a fundamental smart contract, a piece of computer code that executes a particular function once specific conditions have been met. In the case of the marriage certificate, once the website receives identity verification and the signatures of each party, the smart contract is executed, submitting the updated details to a government database and confirming the change. The whole process requires no intervention, nor can it be influenced by external parties. Now, this is obviously a very simplified smart contract. Smart contracts are capable of highly complex automations with secure verification, transaction tracking, and a whole bunch of value-added functions. A smart contract has the ability to write into code the consequences of any outcome, making all transactions 100% fair and all situations predictable. If a supplier fails to deliver a product, a smart contract refunds the head currency paid by the buyer, returns the order in the seller's inventory system, and updates the ledger of the transaction automatically. The advantages of smart contracts are pretty clear just out of the technology that's available right now. But as the code progresses, the opportunities for literal, world-changing applications are incredibly exciting. The concept of smart contracts is hardly new. In fact, the term was first coined in 1994 by Nick Szabo, the creator of Bitcoin's predecessor, BitGold. Szabo was trying to automate certain parts of electronic commerce between strangers, inserting contract law and practices into the code while attempting to bypass any kind of central authority. Since then, smart contracts have arrived on the blockchains to varying success. Bitcoin was actually the first crypto to suppose basic smart contracts, albeit very basic, slow, and expensive to execute. Next came Ethereum with its Turing-complete smart contract programming language. While it solved some of Bitcoin's speed and functionality limitations, the ecosystem has been plagued by bugs, vulnerabilities, and malicious exploits, costing investors millions of dollars. Other blockchain projects, including Polkadot, Tezos, and Solana, have all recently implemented smart contracts. Cardano and founder Charles Hoskinson have often come under criticism for slowly deploying smart contracts as opposed to rushing a semi-finished product to market. But his reply in a recent blog makes a lot of sense. He explained that Cardano could produce smart contracts and dApps under Ethereum, but the outcome won't be what he considers valuable. He says this: "Do you know where this will lead? Commissions of $60 to $100 per transaction, profitable farming, useless DeFi, and selling goofy NFTs for hundreds of thousands of dollars." He would go on to explain that not only are many of these Ethereum-based dApps not decentralized, but as of 2020, only 31% of dApps were built on Ethereum, with the rest built off the platform. This doesn't show or demonstrate a lot of faith in the on-chain dApps ecosystem from its developers and user base. So here's the question: what will Cardano smart contracts bring to the table that the other competitors don't have already? Hoskinson says that he and his team want to create smart contracts with real utility, and that their slow, methodical rollout will ensure that projects will be robust from day one. Charles says, "It's because we built the system right. We know exactly where to go to get the system to the next level. We know the things that we need to do." He says that when smart contracts launch on Cardano, they will see gargantuan increase in the value while transaction fees remain at their traditionally low levels. But once the switch is flicked, what happens next? Hoskinson recently endured criticism from a July 2020 tweet where he made a prediction about July 2021. He said this: "Hundreds of assets running on Cardano, thousands of dApps, tons of interesting projects, and lots of unique use and utility." Obviously, the timing was a little off, but when asked about the prediction, Charles made a very interesting point. He said, "We've had tens of millions of dollars worth of NFTs sold on Cardano, thousands of assets currently hosted on the network, as well as tens of thousands of developers already trained in Plutus and Haskell, ready to deploy apps come launch day. We're going to see a lot of apps wake up on the network and have a very big ecosystem grow. Just like the merry hard fork in 2021, when native tokens and NFTs became available, they were being used, traded, and minted from day one. There's already a lot of plans for native tokens, such as SingularityNet and many new DeFi applications that are coming." Charles shrugged off criticism and speculation like he's always done, by referring to his mantra, don't pay attention to the noise, follow the facts. By every measurable KPI, the growth over the last year has been remarkable. Those who levy criticism at this point are either misinformed or malicious. Cardano remains one of the fastest growing, most stable, most mature, and systematic of cryptocurrency projects. So that's it for today's video on smart contracts and the future of Cardano after the Alonzo hard fork, the completion of the Goguen era. No doubt about it, it's exciting times ahead, everyone. Are you excited about the Cardano project, smart contracts on the way, or are you still on the fence? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.